والله يدعو إلى دار السلام ويهدي من يشاء إلى صراط مستقيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، صلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Now the sect is ready, and it's ready for the battle that was described by Allah in the Quran to be the day of Furqan, the divider between truth and falsehood, between right and evil. The companions of the Prophet ﷺ were 314 in number, with almost no armor, few swords and few spears, but with hearts filled with belief and love of this religion, with hearts eager to die at the side of Allah, because they know that whoever dies at the side of Allah will enter heaven. So it's a shortcut for those who want to save time and effort, who are afraid of what might happen in the future. They went to the Battle of Badr after being oppressed for so many years, after being deprived of their property and wealth, after being separated from their loved ones. It is enough that a person is kicked out of his country that he loves, in the country that he was born and raised in, just simply because of his beliefs.
Exiled in a way.
Yes, in a very bad way. And even if they were exiled and left alone, that would have been an acceptable thing. But they would not leave them alone. So they were there to fight for justice and for themselves. They're there to spare their lives, or to give their lives to Allah the Almighty, so that He would be pleased with them. And on the other hand, there was the mushrikun, the polytheists, the idol worshippers, who came with full armor and equipped with the latest weaponry available, 3 times in number. They had knights, they had soldiers, they had camels with them, and they did not come alone. They came even with their women and maids, so that they would party and sing and celebrate their so-claimed victory. So, on one hand, you had people that had nothing to lose. And on the contrary, they sought to die in the cause of Allah Azza wa Jal. And on the other hand, you had arrogant people overwhelmed by their power and might, and they thought that they are by no means going, or by all means going to be the prevailing force.
Isn't that what we see today, Sheikh? You know, it's fair enough to say time and time again throughout history, we have always on one side a united force of Muslims from different nationalities, and yet you have a coalition of different religions, different backgrounds, always uniting against Islam. Isn't that the same, similar?
Well, this is the norm. Because it was mentioned in the Quran that the Jews and Christians will not be pleased with you until you abandon your faith and follow them. We are told that the majority of the people are astray, and they will not be satisfied until you obey what they are telling you to do. And if you look at nowadays events, you would find that when a foreigner or a non-Muslim is killed anywhere in the world, the whole world stands up on its feet, and they want to get the person who did this, and they want justice to be served. But we have nations, hundreds and thousands and millions of Muslims being slaughtered, being tortured, being led astray, and being oppressed until they die out of thirst and hunger, and yet no one is even daring to stand up and say, this is not fair. This is the norm. And the Prophet ﷺ prepared his soldiers for the worst. But we did not have any worse. It is either victory or paradise. And they all wanted paradise. So they were not afraid of dying. And they felt that if they were spared and not killed at the side of Allah, that they were on the losing end. While the polytheists, the army of the Quraysh, had no intention of dying. They just wanted to score a point and go back to their country victorious. The set was ready, and the Prophet ﷺ guarded the army at night, the night of the battle. And he told them, go to sleep, I'm the one who's guarding you. And he did not go to sleep. He spent the night supplicating, praying to Allah. And he was sincere in his prayer throughout the whole night, supplicating and saying, oh Allah, if this group of Muslims die and they were defeated, you will not be worshipped on this earth, because no one is worshipping you as you wish except us. And Abu Bakr was next to him, saying to him, O Prophet of Allah, take it easy, Allah Azza wa Jal will grant you victory. Some scholars say, this is strange. Abu Bakr is comforting the Prophet ﷺ and telling him, take it easy, as if the Prophet was not sure. They said, no. The Prophet was on the side of the fear, while Abu Bakr was on the side of hope. And without fear and hope, you cannot be a Muslim.
Yes.
So you have to have, it's like a bird with two wings. If you fear Allah Azza wa Jal without hoping, the bird will go sideways. And if you hope the paradise and the forgiveness of Allah without fearing Allah, the bird again will fall sideways, because you will fall into sin depending on Allah's hope. And you'll fall into despair because you are not hoping that Allah Azza wa Jal will forgive your sins. So it was sort of a balance. The Prophet ﷺ knew for sure that he was victorious. But he wanted to supplicate to Allah Azza wa Jal as form of worship and as form of enforcing this trust in Allah, in him.
So can we take a lesson from that we need to pray to Allah and we need to supplicate to Allah, especially because we see the Prophet himself, which Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which Allah is supporting him directly and telling him what to do and promised him the victory, he still needs to supplicate and pray night prayer and keep asking Allah. So can we take a lesson from that we need to supplicate Allah in order for us to get success in our life?
Without any doubt, Muslims supplicate through all their day and night. Our whole life is full of supplication. We don't pray to Allah Azza wa Jal once a week, or only when we take our food and make our thanks to our Lord. We pray to Allah Azza wa Jal in every single detail of our lives. Before we go out, there's a certain supplication. When we enter our houses, also. When we go to the masjid, the mosque, and when we go out of the mosque, when we eat, when we finish eating, when we drink, when we wear clothes, when we go to answer the call of nature, when we come out of the toilet, when we ride a camel or a car or an airplane, when we have intimate relationship with our spouses, and goes on and on and on. Every single thing, there's a supplication, which means that a Muslim is 24 hours, 7 days a week, connected with his Lord throughout the day. And that is why we have a trust and dependence on Allah alone. And this is manifested in the behavior of the Prophet ﷺ. He spent his night praying and asking Allah. And on the contrary, Abu Jahl, the head of the polytheists, the head of the enemy, was also supplicating to Allah.
How?
He was saying, "O Allah, whomever among us was disconnecting the kinship," because he claims that the Prophet ﷺ, by calling people to Islam, he made sons go away from their fathers because they accepted Islam. He made wives go away from their husbands and brothers going away from their brothers. So he said, "O Allah, whomever disconnected the kinship among us, and whoever brought new things to us that we did not know of, O Allah, I pray to you that you kill him this morning or this day." The guy was supplicating on himself. And see the arrogance in him. Now, we mentioned earlier that he knew that the Prophet ﷺ was the messenger of Allah.
So did he forget then?
No, he did not forget. But as mentioned in the Quran, that they knew it, but they hid it.
Yes.
They could not show it out.
Which is arrogance also.
It's complete arrogance. And that is why in one incident, when one of his companions told him, "Do you know that he's a liar? Muhammad is a liar." He said, "By God, no. He's not a liar. He is saying the truth." So he told him, "Abu Jahl, if he's saying the truth, why aren't you following him?" He said, "Well, since the beginning of time, Banu Hashim and Banu Umayyah, we were all competing in showing off. Whenever they fed the pilgrims, we fed them. Whenever they gave them water, we gave them. Whenever they did something that was good, we did a similar thing. As if we were racehorses. Until one of them came up and said, "Well, among us there's a messenger." How can we compete with that?
Yes.
If they have revelation coming to them from the heavens, we can no way compete with that. So, by Allah, I will never follow him or believe him. He knew deep down inside. And I swear by Allah, all the non-Muslims worldwide, even the leaders of non-Muslim countries, know that Islam is the right and true religion of Allah. But they conceal this fact. They hide it from the people and they act against it because of arrogance. I believe that we have a short break. Stay tuned and inshallah we will be right back.
So this is an open invitation for everybody to recognize God and enjoy His blessings in this life and His mercy in this life and in the hereafter as well. Allah, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. Each name has a meaning. Each name signifies a nature of Allah the Almighty which no one shares or is compared to Allah in it.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah and welcome back. Now, the battlefield is set and ready. And as the Prophet ﷺ was getting ready to fight, he was caught up by one of the polytheists from Medina. And this man told him that he wanted to join the Muslims in fighting the people of Quraysh. So the Prophet ﷺ told him that you're not a Muslim. and we do not seek the aid of non-Muslims, which tells us that Muslims should unite and they should not accept non-Muslims to fight with them, because this is an Islamic cause. It should be purely Islamic. The man insisted and the Prophet rejected, ﷺ. Then he embraced Islam and he fought with the Muslims and he died a martyr, not even prostrating one single prostration to Allah, because he died immediately afterwards. Now, the Prophet ﷺ did not have any supporters. He did not have any backup. He did not have anything except these 314 men. While the mushrikun, the polytheists, had all the support they needed with the number and armor they have. And also, as you brought up this in the break, they had Satan's support with them. When they went out of Medina, Satan told them, well, actually it wasn't Satan, they were afraid that they will be attacked by one of the rival tribes as they are away from Mecca. So Satan came to them in the form of a man known as Suraq ibn Malik. And he told them, don't fear no one. I am your man, I am your protector. I will go and I do have allegiance with this tribe you're afraid of, and I will ask them not to attack you. So he fooled them and deceived them into going into battle. He was encouraging them. He was telling them, have no fear. I'm with you all the way. And just to prove this, I'll be with you throughout the battle. When the two armies met, the Prophet ﷺ gave his instructions to his people. He told them, do not draw your swords. Throw them with arrows when they come close to you. And then, when they're too close, draw your swords. Because they are more than you are. So, a man-to-man fight would not sound that appealing, because it's 1 to 3. And the Prophet ﷺ, instead of waging normal wars, he brought up the idea of standing in one line, so that they would get the support from the back, and whenever there is a hole here or there, it would be filled from the back, instead of just going on and off, front and back, as in guerrilla wars. So he made a full line, and he was, ﷺ, himself fixing the line himself. Whoever was in front, he would tell him, go back, and whoever was on the back, he would tell him, come up front. Until he came to one of the companions, whose name was Sawad ibn Ghuzayya. The Prophet had a stick in his hand. So Sawad was a little bit in front. So the Prophet ﷺ pushed him a little bit in his belly, in his stomach, with that stick, saying, go back, Sawad. And this companion of Allah cried out, oh Allah, you hurt me. It hurts. And you say that you come with justice and fairness, and you did me wrong, and I would like to take my right. It's very weird, very strange. So, the companion of Allah is asking to get his right. You slap me on the face, I slap you on the face. You push me with a stick in my stomach and hurt me, I should do the same to you. And the Prophet ﷺ did nothing but reveal his stomach, telling Sawad, take what you want. I hurt you, I'm sorry. Now you can hurt me back. So the companion of Allah embraced the Prophet ﷺ, put his cheek on his stomach, and kissed the Prophet ﷺ. So the Prophet said, why are you doing this, Sawad? He said, O Prophet of Allah, I know that this is a battle, and this might be my last day. So I wanted the last thing to touch my skin is your skin. Look at this amount of love to the Prophet ﷺ. He knows he's dying, but he wanted to embrace the Prophet ﷺ skin to skin. So that would be the last thing he touches from this world. So the Prophet ﷺ prayed for him and asked Allah Azza wa Jal to have mercy for him. One of the mushriks, and his name was Al-Aswad ibn Abd al-Aswad, he said, and the fight did not start yet, he said, I am going to drink from that well they have. Either I drink from it, or I tear some part of it so that we get some water, or I die. And he charged into the Muslims' army. And the first one to meet him was Hamza. For his unfortunate luck, he was met by Hamza ibn Abd al-Muttalib, one of the lions of Allah. And with one chop, he chopped off his leg. And the guy started crawling to the well to drink out of it, and Hamza finished him off. Once they saw this, the polytheists had no way except to engage in battle. So 3 of their leaders came out requesting a duel. Those were Utbah ibn Rabi'ah, who did not want to fight to begin with, but he was a man of honor and arrogance, unfortunately. Utbah ibn Rabi'ah, his son Al-Walid ibn Utbah, and his brother Shaybah ibn Rabi'ah. 3 of the most prominent people of Mecca, leaders of their tribe. They came and they requested a duel. So 3 of the Ansar, 3 of the people of Medina, came out to fight with them. So they apologized. Said, well, the 3 of you are men of honor, but you are from Medina, and we don't want to fight you. We want to fight our rivals. So send 3 of our own people, of our cousins. And 3 came out. They were Hamza ibn Abd al-Muttalib, they were Ali ibn Abi Talib, and Ubaidah ibn al-Harith. Ubaidah was the eldest, so he fought with Utbah. And Hamza and Ali fought with Shaybah and Al-Walid. Hamza and Ali were experienced fighters and were lions. They were so strong. It could go on for days and days just talking about their strength and bravery. So it was a matter of seconds. And the ones though they were fighting with were on the floor in their blood, dead. Utbah and Ubaidah, they each exchanged blows and they injured one another. And Hamza and Ali went to Utbah and finished him off. They carried their cousin Ubaidah ibn al-Harith back to the Muslim army. He died 5 or 6 days later on with his wounds, a martyr at the side of Allah Azza wa Jal. It was a very strong blow to the polytheist army. 3 of their prominent leaders died in a matter of seconds, so they charged and they started their attack. And both armies were engaged. And then miracles started to happen. The Prophet ﷺ encouraged them and said to the Muslims, whoever meets them face to face, does not give them their back, and he is patient, seeking the reward of Allah, if he dies, there is no reward for him except Jannah. And he encouraged his people, saying, "O people, come on and hurry to a Jannah, a paradise. The width of it is as big as the heavens and the earth." So one of the companions, Umayr ibn al-Hammam, may Allah be pleased with him, he said, "Whoa, the width is only the skies, the heavens, and the earth? What about the length?" And he was carrying a number of dates so to eat and get stronger with. And he said, "By Allah, if I wait until I eat these dates, it's a long life." And he threw the dates and he charged to the army and fought them until he died. And of course he is in paradise, as we all know. there are so many stories to be told. Ukash ibn Mihsan, may Allah be pleased with him, one of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, one of the strong fighters. Whenever he fought with a sword, it broke. It broke. It kept on breaking. Because he used to hit people. And when you hear the stories, it's not like our arms or biceps. They would hit a man on the head and split him into two. Now this is extremely difficult and hard. To split a man into two. You may chop off his head, chop off his hand, but to split him into two, this means that the sword is one hell of a sword, and the arm itself is
very strong.
It is extremely strong. That is why Az-Zubair ibn al-Awwam, may Allah be pleased with him, whenever someone saw him in battle and said, MashaAllah, your sword is very strong, he would be angry. He said, it's not the sword, it's the arm carrying it. So don't flatter the sword, flatter the arm itself. And then Ukash ibn Mihsan was out of swords. So the Prophet ﷺ held, in some narrations, he held a branch of a tree. And others, he held a real sword. And he said, who takes this with its right and pays for it? So everybody stood back. And Ukash said, what is, I do, a Prophet of Allah. And he took the sword. And after he took the sword, he said, what is the price of this? What is the right of the sword? He told him that you fight in the side of Allah until it breaks or you die. And he took it and he went on. He was known to be the man of the red bandage, Ukash ibn Mihsan. And he only wore this bandage, red bandage, in war, where he used to walk left and right, showing off, flexing his muscles. And the Prophet saw him and said that this is a way of walking that Allah does not approve of, except in battlefields. So this throws the fear and terror in the hearts of the people. I'm afraid that this is all the time we have for today's program. So inshallah, until we meet next time, fi amanillah, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Mm-hmm.